Namaste, namaste, and welcome to this Monday morning yoga class. Today we are going to investigate the back of the body, particularly around about the backs of the legs, which is where many yogis have a challenge finding additional length to find comfort in postures like downward facing dog, and some of our standing poses and things like that. So finding a little bit more space there is a long-term thing that we do with the body. So we do all sorts of different preparations, and over time, our bodies open, they find more space, it becomes more comfortable, we develop flexibility or mobility as you choose. And today we're going to use a little bit of a belt. So have a belt handy, and you might want the odd block or similar handy, just so that you can find comfort in the postures we do. To begin, we're going to do a lot of the first part of this practice lying down on the mat, but to begin, I'd like you to do a downward facing dog with me, so that we can find where we're at this first thing in the morning. So this first down dog of the day is not about achieving a perfect posture, it's about noticing the sensations in our bodies as we work, so we know when we've done something effective in our limbering practice. So bringing your hands onto the mat and really making use of the hands, using your hasta bandhas if you're familiar. And then we're going to tuck the toes under from our hands and knees position and just find a little soft dog. So nice bent knees. The idea here is that we develop length through the front of the body, pressing the chest towards the thighs, tipping the tailbone up towards the ceiling, and then just see where the legs can extend to. So keeping the upper body nice and long from the fingertips to the tailbone, just explore maybe soft easing of the heels down, maybe easing into the backs of the legs, and noticing if you have areas of tension or if you're particularly have areas of stiffness. And then give yourself a little wiggle with the knees and just see if a few padding through the knees, walking the dog, helps, and then come back into your down dog pose and just noticing. So that's our base position. We're going to come down to our hands and knees now. Give ourselves a little bit of a shake out of the wrists, and then join me lying down on your back, belt handy. So we're going to start with the feet on the floor and let the back of the body find the floor. Let the arms rest away from the body. And as we come to this position, often it's the first time you've done this position since you got out of bed in the morning. And what this position does is it allows the low back to find the mat, which creates a little bit of length in the back of the body, because our normal spinal position is to have a gentle curve there. And for some people, it's more pronounced than others. And we can also allow the shoulders to find the back of the mat behind us and the head as well. So taking here a few deeper breaths, we can close our eyes. Allow the body to be heavy. Perhaps take this moment to mentally step away from everything else going on in your life, going on around you, and just create a little bit of time and space for yourself this morning. As you do that, perhaps you can give yourself the most gentle of smiles. Soften your face, your shoulders, your chest. Here you can gently roll your head from one side to the other, keeping the weight of the head on the floor, just exploring. We don't have to find the extremes of our range of movement. We're just beginning to move. When you're ready, you can bring your head back to center. And we're just going to start by drawing the knees into the chest. So maybe one at a time, drawing the knees into the chest and just spending a moment allowing the knees to be heavy towards you, allowing your tailbone, the back of your body, to be heavy into the mat and relaxing the shoulders down. So one of the things that perhaps people don't realize is that your body really needs that sense of relaxation to find space in the muscles. If we are tense or unrelaxed, stressed, then our muscles are also tense, they are also tight, and it's much harder for them to find length. So if you are a person who is really challenged by flexibility, sometimes it's worth addressing this tension in your life. Perhaps a little bit of relaxation and extended exhalations with your breath would really help. So we're going to begin moving with our breath to help coordinate breath and movement together. So we're easing the knees into the chest as we exhale, keeping the back of the body nice and heavy, and easing the knees away just to point where the arms are long as we inhale. Exhaling the knees in, nice and slowly in. Inhaling as we release the knees away. Let's do 2 more, 3 more. Exhaling the knees in. Inhaling as we release away. Exhaling, knees coming into the chest. Inhaling away. And last one. Exhaling in. Inhaling, just releasing. And when we come to this point, we're going to put the hands onto the knees themselves and just make nice little circles with the knees to massage out any effort in the back of the body. We can go the opposite way as well. And all of these practices are going to develop a sense of ease, looseness, space in the back of the body, which will pay dividends in our downward facing dogs. So from here, we're going to take the feet to the floor. And then the left leg is going to, the right leg, let's do the right leg first. The right leg is going to slide away. And the left foot is going to remain where it is on the floor. And here we're going to press into the heel of the left foot and roll the left hip up away from the mat. So we've done this a few times before. We're going to roll back down again. So the idea is that pressing down with the left heel, you point your left knee away towards your toes. And by the action of drawing the knee in that direction, peels the left hip off the floor. The shoulders are quite relaxed. So you're anchored by your left shoulder a little bit, but you've got this beautiful twisting curve through the left side of the body. And then we're gently and slowly coming back down to the mat. So we have done this in class a few times, but I appreciate it's a bit of a difficult one to explain verbally. So pressing the left heel down, press your knee towards your toes. Imagine you're trying to stretch your knee in that direction and just feel the left hip, peel off the mat. This beautiful space down the left side of the body. And then we're slowly coming down towards the mat again. And because we've done 3 slowly, we're going to do 3 in a different way. So pressing the left heel into the mat, peeling the left hip up, pressing the left knee away. And then this time we're going to allow ourselves to release quickly. So we just slump back down to the mat. And then pressing the left heel to the floor, pressing the knee away, peeling the hip up, just feeling that we're creating a tension in the body, particularly in this area behind the left side of the body. And then we're just going to relax and slump back down to the mat. One last time, pressing the heel into the floor, pressing the knee towards the toes, easing that left side of the body away, and then relaxing all in one go, just doing a little slumping. And then after we've done that on the left side, we're going to bring the right leg in and just allow the knees to be quite far apart, the feet to be quite far apart, and just sway the knees a little from side to side. So we're not looking for a twist. We're just looking for a little bit of movement across the back of the pelvis. Very nice. And then we can do the same thing on the other side. So lengthening the left leg, the left leg away. I'm muddling my left and right this morning. Making sure the upper body is nice and relaxed. The right foot is on the floor, pressing the right heel into the mat, pressing the right knee towards the toes, and just easing the right hip away from the floor. And we're beginning with slow up and slow down. So we want to create that sense of muscular effort and then slowly release it as we ease the right hip down to the floor. And then we go again. Press the right heel into the floor, press the knee towards the toes, so pointing your knee forwards as opposed to across the body. And then that right hip peels off the floor, got beautiful space down the right side of the body, feeling the effort behind the body, and then easing slowly out of it to roll back down to the mat. And then again, pressing that heel into the floor, activating through that right side of the body, pressing the knee towards the toes, opening underneath the body, and then slowly, slowly, slowly releasing back down to the mat. And then we do 3 where we release more quickly. So we're pressing the heel into the floor, pressing the knee towards the toes, lifting the right hip up, creating that muscular effort, and then releasing it and relaxing down straight away. Just a little slumpy. It's a bit like tense and release sometimes when we do it at the end of class, where we tense something, then we let go all at once. Press the right heel into the floor, right knee moves towards the toes, opening up that side of the body, and then relax all in one go. One more time. Press the right heel to the floor, move the knee towards the toes, create that effort underneath the body, and relax all the way down. And then we're going to extend both legs. So the left leg's already extended, we can extend the right leg. And here, just do a little wiggle of your hips from side to side. So it's like we're stretching one leg away and then the other. So there's the action of almost like a walking action across the pelvis, a little tip up and down. And then with the knees nice and soft, just rolling the ankles so that the thigh bones roll in the hip sockets. Very good. Let's roll the opposite way as well. And then we'll bend our knees into our chest one at a time. And just find a little movement here that feels good. So it might be a little circling, or it could be rocking and rolling, whatever feels good to massage out any effort in the back of the body. And then we're going to come up into sitting. So you can do this by drawing your head towards your knees and rolling a few times, or you can roll to one side. And we're going to try our downward dog again. So finding your hasta bandhas, your hand locks, or spreading the fingers if you're not familiar, tucking the toes, scooping the belly in, pressing the chest towards the thighs as you peel the knees off the mat, and then lengthening the hips up towards the ceiling, or the tailbone, sorry, up towards the ceiling, and just finding where you naturally get to. So where your legs aren't feeling super stressed, you're feeling your way into the backs of the legs. Just see if the practices we've done so far have made a difference to how comfortable your downward dog feels. Give yourself a little wiggling from side to side, maybe a little walking of the dog. And when you're ready, you can bring your knees back down to the mat. So if you have discovered a little bit of extra space in your downward facing dog, then you know the practices that we've done have been very effective for you. And if you haven't, don't worry, it's coming with something else. Come to lying back down on your mat. So we're going to do a little bit more work with the knees into the chest, and we're trying to activate the belly muscles. So we're drawing one knee in and then the other, but this time we're going to leave our hands down, and we're just going to allow the knees to roll in circles. So in the same direction to begin with. Knees can be together or apart. I like them quite far apart. but maybe not as wide as they go. Just rolling in one direction, you can feel your belly muscles having to do some of the action here. We're going to go in the opposite direction as well. As we do this, we are getting the effect of massaging the back of the body into the floor, all sorts of the back of the body, all sorts of bits in the back of the body. When you're ready, you can come to center, and then we'll make the knees go in opposite directions, swinging one knee in a circle and then the other. And what we're trying to do here is create a little bit of effort across the belly muscles, perhaps just a little bit more. So drawing them inwards, drawing them upwards, lengthening one leg away and then the other as you draw the knees in circles. The longer and lower your extended leg goes, the more effort you have to make in your hip flexors, in your belly muscles. So just bear that in mind. When you're ready, going the opposite way. There are no prizes for getting your heels to the floor or anything like that, so don't feel like you must do that. Try to keep your chin just a little down towards your chest, the back of the head nice and heavy. And when you're ready, you can gather your knees back towards you. Draw your knees into your chest with your arms, with your hands. And then maybe just give a gentle rock of the knees from one side to the other. It helps to move your head in the opposite direction. You get the gentlest of twists across the body. When you're ready, you can bring your feet down to the floor one at a time, again with the feet quite wide, and let the knees sway a little from one side to the other. And we're perhaps developing a little bit more space, so you might come a little deeper into a spinal twist here. No obligation. Check that you're using your belly muscles. And when you're ready, coming back to center, and we're going to grab our belts. So here, we're going to work with the left leg first, only because it's, for me, the one that's closest to you guys, easiest to see. So we're going to take this belt and we're going to draw it around the heel or wherever is comfortable on your left foot. I like working on my heel because we're extending into our heels and it sort of keeps the belt in place. It doesn't matter how straight this leg is, but we want it to be lengthened. So if your leg needs to be lower down to be lengthened, then work in that place. Just for this little first bit. So we're trying to maybe pulse through the knee of that leg so that we find a place where it's comfortable to be. And at the same time, we want to hold as far up the belt as feels comfortable for the shoulders, as long as you're nice and relaxed in the shoulders and the back of the head. So when you're here with your lengthened position, we can gently point the toes and flex the heels. Point the toes and flex the heels. Just trying to keep the leg nice and long and find that position that works for the foot as well. If for any reason you find it not comfortable to use the belt there, you can use the belt around the back of your thigh. So drawing the leg towards you with the belt around the back of your thigh and then pointing and flexing. We're just beginning to explore a little something called nerve flossing. So here, as we work with nerve flossing, we want to be gentle. We don't want to work too strongly, but just noticing the sensation in the body as we point and flex slowly one way and then the other. If you feel that there's no sensation for you, then draw your leg a little bit closer towards you. Again, you can do this with a slightly softened knee, but we're looking for leg length where possible, and then point and flex. What we want to avoid are very, very strong or intense sensations. So I actually get quite the sensation across the top of my foot as I point my toes, but I don't want it to be too intense, just noticing enough. When I flex my heels, the sensation is in the back of the leg for me, but just a little. Okay, and then when you're ready, you can just draw that knee into your chest, hug it towards you a little. I like to stretch out the other leg to kind of balance out the hips a touch. And then we're going to let the right foot find the floor. Do whatever you need to do to release out. So it might be taking the legs long and giving the feet a shake. It might be bending the knees into the chest or giving yourself a little spinal twist, whatever feels good in this moment. And then when you're ready, you can lengthen both legs and just notice how the two sides of the body feel. Perhaps one side of the body feels differently. I certainly feel a bit longer on my left side. Let's do the same thing on the right. So you can start with the belt around the heel of the foot, if that worked for you. We're trying to find a position where the leg is lengthened. The left foot is on the floor for support because the pelvis is more stable that way. So we're beginning first, maybe just with a little knee bending and stretching, just to find a place where the leg is lengthened, but without discomfort. And then you can begin to point and flex. And again, working really gently. We don't want the sensation in the body to be too intense. We just want to notice a little sensation. And because we're working with nerves rather than or focusing on the nerves rather than the muscles, the sensations might be sharper than they are with muscles. Maybe just a little bit more pointy is the feeling I always get. If you wish to, you can move that belt to the space behind your thigh to draw the leg towards you. Because if your leg is further away, you might find it harder to do the pointing and flexing with the belt around the heel of the foot. And again, just finding somewhere where the leg is lengthened or lengthening and pointing and flexing. I explained quite a lot about this at the beginning of the class, but nerve structures have less elasticity. So by giving them an opportunity to move in this way, we can improve their opportunity to lengthen, so that when we move our muscles, they are not the thing that is restricting us and holding us back. When you're ready, you can draw this knee into your chest. Oh, sorry, just hug it towards you. Maybe lengthen the left leg away just to rebalance the hips. And then when you're ready, you can do anything that helps to release. Maybe a little bit of ankle rolling, maybe a little bit of leg turning or swaying of the knees from side to side. When you're ready, roll onto one side and come up into upright position, kneeling or sitting. We're going to come and do our down dogs again and just notice if that's made any difference to us. So coming with your hands and knees, pressing your chest back towards your thighs as you unpeel yourself into your downward facing dog. And just exploring here for a moment the lengthening of the legs. Maybe that's made a difference, maybe it hasn't, and that's okay if it hasn't. Just noticing, maybe giving your knees a little bend and stretch. Chest towards thighs, lifting in the belly muscles. Maybe a gentle turn of the head from side to side. And when you're ready, knees can come down to the mat. Just taking a moment to get yourself back down onto the floor, and we'll do our next little bit. So you might like to bend your knees in, give your back a little massage. If that feels good, the back of the pelvis, the low back area. I like to massage out there often. I've got a bit of a bendy back, so I often, it's easy for me to overdo it there. We're going to take the belt and put it around the heel of the left foot again. And we're going to do much more of a traditional hamstring stretch or back of the leg stretch. So here we want to flex the foot as much as feels comfortable without overdoing it. So we're not going quite as far as we can, but just creating that sense of, by flexing the foot, we create a sense of length down the back of the left leg. And then we're just gently moving this foot inwards and outwards. So you can, or towards the head and away. So you can do as much as feels comfortable here. We're trying to let the back of the left hip drop towards the floor. So as you move your leg backwards and forwards, you can feel yourself moving against the back of the left side of the pelvis there. So just a very straightforward backwards and forwards. Notice your foot. If your foot is straight and your leg is straight, and then we're gently going to turn the toes to face out to the left. So as we move in a more diagonal way. And you might notice a different part of the body feeling like it's being switched on or lengthened as you move. And perhaps a slightly different part of the back of the body being massaged here as well. Very good. And then we're going to take the toes and turn them inwards. So they turn towards the right, and the same thing again. Just gentle moving backwards and forwards. But at the same time, having this sense of lengthening in general. Very good. And then we're going to come back to our neutral position again, and we're going to draw the heel in circles. And they can start relatively small. You're using your right foot on the floor for support here. It's not completely passive. You do need to activate that right side of the body. We're firm in the belly muscles, and you can make your leg go as far as feels comfortable in these circles, trying to keep that sense of long in the leg. So a little soft across the knee. We don't want to lock the knee straight, but that sense of long in the leg. When you're ready, you come back to the center and go the opposite way. Start small, use your belt for support, use your belly muscles and your right foot or right leg for support. Build into some bigger circles. Very good. Let's do one more in this direction. And then we'll bring this leg back to the center. So here, come back to your original lengthened position and just see if that feels a bit more comfortable. We're going to lengthen the right leg away as well. So lengthening through both heels and imagining you're trying to stretch the back of both legs away from you, away from the center of your body. And with the right leg lengthened as well, you might need to give yourself a little bit more space. So lowering your left leg towards the floor if that feels more comfortable. And just noticing how you feel here. We're going to pass the two parts of the belt into the right hand and just allow the left leg to travel over towards the right side of the body. So perhaps hovers over the right hip. We don't want to let the leg come away from us to do that. So lots of people, they do this move and the leg moves away from their head and they take it all the way over the body and the left hip peels off the floor. What we want is to keep the left hip on the floor, the left foot as far towards the head as feels comfortable, but then move it over that right hip area. And you should hopefully feel that really switch on a sense of length down the side of your leg, perhaps even across your hip. Don't forget to flex both heels. If it is really intense, you can bend your right knee and it will just take a little bit of the intensity out of that stretch. When you're ready, you can come back to the center. We're going to take the belt into the left hand and allow the left leg to move out to the left side. And here, we don't really need to do anything too intense. So if you need to counterbalance, you can bend your right knee in, let your right knee just fall to the right to counterbalance the weight of the left leg. And then we're easing into the heel of the left foot. And again, trying to bring the left foot towards the head end of our body so that we don't let that left foot come away to get it lower down. It's not about how low to the ground it gets. It's keeping that sense of length and drawing the left foot towards us. We're going to hold for one more breath. And then drawing the foot and the knee back to the center. We're going to lose the belt. Draw your knee into your chest. Oh, it will feel absolutely delicious. Maybe lengthen the right leg away if it feels good. Maybe roll your left knee a few times in each direction. Or you can draw both knees in and do a little bit of combined rolling. Knee rolling. And back rolling and all sorts of things. If it feels good, you can take the toes together and just make the knees come apart and together again. A little bit like knee circles in opposite directions is what I want to say. Going a few times in each direction. And then we're going to take the feet to the floor, stretch the legs away, and just notice the difference between the two sides of the body. And this is a more static kind of stretching, and it can be really, really useful. But lengthening processes are horses for courses, really. Sometimes different things will work. So just observing, we're going to bend the left foot in, place the foot on the floor, and then wrap our belt around the right heel and do the whole thing on the right side. So we're first beginning to explore a sense of lengthened. So if your knee is very bent, just let your foot come a little bit closer to the floor so you can find a bit more length. It doesn't have to be super lengthened. We don't want to lock out the back of the right knee, but just finding a little softness and beginning with gently drawing the foot towards you and away. So give yourself enough space that you find a place that you can do that in, a range of movements that doesn't feel like it's at the very end of your stretching. Yeah, just nice and easy. And allowing the back of the right hip to drop towards the mat at the same time. Oh, feels really good. When you're ready, you can turn your right toes out to the right and do a little bit of the same kind of action, but on the diagonal. And hopefully you feel that differently. So I can feel that now on the outside of my right knee and on the outside of my right thigh. Still thinking about extending into the heel of the foot. And then we're turning the toes across the body to turn inwards towards the left and doing the same thing in that direction. And I've just noticed that my foot doesn't turn as far on this leg as it does on the other, which I've never noticed before. There we are. We all have things to learn every day. A little bit backwards and forwards. Just exploring where that different sensation is. Then when you're ready, you can bring your foot back to a more neutral spot. We can make circles with the heel of the foot. Just circling the heel of the foot. And those circles can become a little bit bigger, pressing into the left foot, stabilizing with the left side of the body, maybe with the belly muscles as well. Just going to wherever feels comfortable. Exploring movement. When you're ready, you can bring your foot back to center and go the opposite way, starting small. And then becoming a little bigger. Again, remembering you can soften the back of your knee at any time if that feels comfortable. Nice sweeping movements. Remembering to stabilize with the left side of the body. And when you're ready, coming all the way up to the center. And just taking a moment to drop your that side of your pelvis into the floor. We're going to take our belts into our left hands and just allow, we're going to lengthen first, sorry, excuse me, the left leg. So we're pressing into both heels. We're finding a sense of length down both backs of the legs. And then drawing your belt into your left hand, we're going to let the left foot hover over the right foot, hover over the left hip. So we're just drawing that foot a little to the left. keeping the back of the right hip down on the floor, making sure that you're drawing the leg towards you as much as feels comfortable without really overstressing. So we don't really ever want to hold a position that's super intense, because you will just end up feeling uncomfortable afterwards. When you're ready, you can come back to the center, transfer the belt into the right hand so that the right leg can come out to the right side. Again, trying not to lose the leg away from its position that it was in the upright. And if you need to, you can bend your left knee in and just let the left knee fall out to the side to counterbalance the action of the right leg. And taking a moment, wherever you get to, a couple of nice deep breaths. And when you're ready, you can draw the left knee and the right foot back to center. Unhook your right leg, bend your right knee into your chest. Make some nice wiggly movements or circles with your knee in, just massaging into the hip as well. If you like, you can draw both knees in. Nice big circling. I like to do opposite knee circles at this point because the two legs have been doing different things. And then when you're ready, you can lengthen both legs and just explore that feeling, that sense of length in the body. So let us explore our downward dog and see if this has made a difference. Knees into chest, head towards knees, rolling backwards and forwards. You can roll to your side if you prefer. However you prefer to get up the way, we're going to come onto our hands and knees. And again, explore our way up into a downward facing dog and just notice if that has made a difference. We're scooping the belly in, chest towards thighs, lifting in the tailbone, and just exploring. Give yourself a few deep breaths here. Maybe wiggle the knees a little bit if you need to. And then when you're ready, coming back down onto your knees, and we'll come all the way back down onto our backs again to do a final bit of practice here on the mat. So we have done some different hamstring stretches, and we are going to do something called PNF stretching, which is effectively like creating a load on a stretched muscle and then contracting away from it to create a little bit of increased length. And for me, this is the most effective thing I can do to find length in the back of the body. So it might work for you, it might not. It's okay, we'll just explore together. So we're going to start with the left knee drawn in. And if you're able to, hold around the back of your left thigh and extend your leg, then that's the position you're going to choose. And if you need the belt to give yourself a little bit of length because your leg is at a different position, then use your belt. Doesn't matter which of these you choose, it's just about access and getting the best effect. So if you can, interlacing the fingers, if not using the belt, we've got our left leg in a nice lengthened position. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw the left thigh towards us at the same time as we press the left heel away. So the leg is actively trying to lower and we are actively trying to draw it in. And we're holding that for about 10 seconds, slow count of 10, and then releasing. So let's do it together. So we're drawing the left thigh in and pressing the left leg away at the same time. It should be really active. You should almost be shaking with the effort. Breathe as you hold, and we'll hold for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then relax and just see if your leg moves a little further into that hamstring stretch. When you're ready, you can bend your knee into your chest, give your leg a little bit of a wiggle. We're going to do it 2 more times. So we're lengthening the left leg, holding wherever is comfortable. we want to get really active, drawing the leg in, pressing the leg away. So let's get active and holding for a slow count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax all the effort and just see if your leg will come a little bit closer towards your head. And then just give it a little bit of light relief, whatever feels good. Notice if you've overdone it. If that's the case, then just take it a little bit easier on this final one. So we're drawing the left leg in, we're pressing the left leg away at the same time. The leg is pressing away, the arms are drawing in. Let's get really active and hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax a little bit of the effort and then just see what your leg does. And you can extend your right leg away. You might even be able to hold a little higher up your leg and just feel where the leg has lengthened to. So our nerve flossing has helped our leg get to this point because our nerves are slightly longer as well. And when you're ready, you can bend that knee into your chest, maybe bend both knees in, give yourself a little wiggle from side to side, extend both legs along the floor and just feel the difference between the two sides of the body. So hopefully that feels quite good, but you'll notice if you've overdone it, please take care. Overdoing it once or twice won't matter, but try not to overdo it if at all possible. Bend your left foot, knee on the floor, right leg up, holding either around the back of the thigh with your hands or using your belt and drawing that leg to wherever that position of lengthened is for you. And then we want to get active. The leg is moving down towards the floor under its own steam, and we're drawing in at the same time, really firm and active pressure. So we're drawing in and pressing the leg away at the same time. And we're going to hold for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax all your effort and then just see if that leg has a little bit more room to move. Very good. And then we can bend the knee into the chest, give a little wiggle, whatever feels good, and come back for 2 more of these PNF stretches. So creating your tension, drawing in with the arms, pressing away with the leg, and holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax the effort and then just see if there's a little bit more room to move into. Explore that room and then bend your knee, give yourself a little wiggle. And for this last one, make it a really decent effort. So we want to create that tension. That tension is what allows the muscles to lengthen. So the leg is pressing down towards the mat. We're drawing in as strongly as we feel comfortable doing, and we're holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And gently easing that leg. Maybe you can even hold a little bit higher up. You might even feel more comfortable extending through your left leg as well. When you're ready, bending the knee into the chest, bending both knees in, giving a little wiggle. In your own time, extending your legs, just exploring how that feels on both sides of the body. And we're going to see if it's made a difference to our downward facing dog. So rolling to one side, coming up to sitting, finding your hands and knees position, pressing chest towards thighs, lengthening your tailbone up towards the ceiling, maybe easing through the knees a couple of times because we've really focused on the hamstrings and the buttocks and things like that, but the calf muscles might be the things that are tighter for you now than the backs of the legs. and then the backs of the thighs. So giving yourself a little lift in the belly, pressing chest towards thighs. Explore with your positioning, your down dog. And then when you're ready, you can come back to hands and knees. And maybe kneeling upright, just giving yourself a little wiggle. Super stuff. So as I said, we've done lots of things for really the part of the body that's from the back of the waist all the way to the back of the knees. We haven't done quite as much for the calves, but we're going to do that now from a standing position. So coming into standing, and what we're going to do is a little bit of somatic releasing. So we've done PNF stretching. You might notice as you stand up how differently your body feels. Hopefully it feels good. Sometimes when you do a lot of intense and precise stretching, you can feel a bit odd afterwards, but that's okay. Give yourself a little bit of a wiggle. For this next bit, if you need the support of a wall, you can absolutely use one, or back of a sofa, similar, for balance. We're going to take our feet underneath our heels. I'm going to turn slightly sideways so you can see better. The feet underneath our heels, underneath our hips is what I mean. And for this stretch, or for this practice, we're going to come up onto tiptoes, so as high as feels comfortable. So we want to create, she says, that tension in the calf muscles. And then we want to lower the heels to the floor as slowly as possible. So really for the count of 10, coming down nice and slowly. I'm not actually counting to 10 on this round, but so nice and slowly, down, 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 down. And then when the heels touch the floor, just bending the knees a little and giving the legs a little bit of a shake out. So somatic releasing works on the basis of we create a big tension in the muscle and then we release it really slowly, and that allows us to release tension we weren't even aware of holding. And then we get better sense of length. So as I say, a little bit of a wall to hold. I'm going to use a wall this time because it's better to not be fighting the balance and to get really focused on that creating contraction over the calf muscles. So a little lift through the body, coming up onto your tiptoes as high as feels comfortable, holding at this topmost contraction point for just a few moments, maybe a couple of deep breaths. And then we're going to release for the slow count of 10. And I'm going to count this time. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Heels down, just soften the knees, maybe give the legs a little shake out. Here we can release anything that we're holding on to emotionally, or perhaps with our breath, by taking a deep breath in, sighing out. Okay, same thing 2 more times. So we're coming up onto our tiptoes as high as we can. We've got that lift through the body. We're really focusing on the contraction across the calf muscles. And then we're going to release down for the slow count of 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Heels down, soften the knees. Give the legs a bit of a shake out. Deep breath in, sigh out. Awesome sauce. One more time. So coming up onto tiptoes as high as you can, lift through the body, contracting through the calf muscles, and then slow count of 10 on the way down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Heels touch down, knees bent, little shake out, deep breath in, sigh out. Good job. Okay, so for this downward dog that we're trying after our calf muscles are all released, we're going to come in from a forward bend and step backwards. So come towards the front of your mat. We're going to take a deep breath in, reach the arms around the body, reaching up, maybe feel a length in the front of the body, switch on those buttock muscles, those belly muscles, and then folding forward from the hips. Allow the fingertips to find the floor or in that general direction. Here, in your forward bend, just notice if it feels a little bit more comfortable. Scoop the belly in, relax the back of the neck, maybe give your shoulders a little wriggle, maybe pad the knees backwards and forwards a touch. And then when you're ready, bending your knees enough to find the hands on the floor and step your feet back into downward facing dog. Press the chest towards the thighs, really active in the fingers, the hands. Again, lifting in the belly, lifting in the tailbone, and just seeing if you can find a comfortable position to hold your downward facing dog. We're going to hold for about 5 deep breaths. Release out if you need to, of course. Sigh out whenever you need to as well. One more deep breath in and out. And then gently releasing the knees down to the mat. Take the knees wide, keep the toes towards each other, and find a child's pose. Forehead to find the floor, or if it doesn't naturally find the floor, folding the arms so that you can rest the forehead on the backs of the arms. Forearms. Here, taking a few deeper breaths, softening the effort across the face, the belly, and the legs and the hips. When you're ready, you can pad your hands back towards you. Bring your knees together. And just find an upright position that feels comfortable to you. Could be kneeling, could be otherwise. And hopefully that has been quite useful. So there are lots of ways that we can use movement within our downward dog to make our down dog feel more comfortable and to also get more comfortable in other postures as well, to use our limbering within down dog to make other things more accessible, more comfortable. So we're going to do a touch of this now, and then we're going to work into, I think, probably extended side angle pose, just because it's the one that's come to me this morning. In fact, it came to me last night while I was thinking about this class. So we're going to use down dog in a completely different, not completely different way, we're familiar with it, but in a different way to how we've used it thus far in class. So first, coming to rest your hands onto the mat and coming into your hands and knees position, tucking the toes, lifting the knees only off, and then taking the chest towards the thighs, keeping the knees really bent. Want to really press into the hands, particularly into the fingertips, the heels of the hands, and then slowly unwind the legs or uncurl the legs into a straight leg position. Here, we're going to really walk the dog. So bending the left knee in and just looking under the right arm, and then bending the right knee and looking under the left arm. We want that undulation to be through the upper body and the low body. So really easing one heel and then the other, keeping the heels of the hands and the fingertips very active, keeping the belly lifting, just moving a little from side to side. When you're ready, you can come back to the center. We're going to take the feet nice and wide, come onto the tiptoes, drop your heels down to your left side, and then bend and stretch the legs. squatting dog. Let's do 5, bend and stretch on each side. Nice and firm the belly, firm in the hands. We're not keeping the shoulders square, but we are actively resisting the twist. Very nice. Coming back into the center, rest if you need to between sides, then drop your heels down to the right. Same thing, bend and stretch, bend and stretch. We're trying to get all the way bent if we can. And whilst we're not super square, we do want to be actively resisting that stretch. One more time. And coming back to center, actively resisting the twist, not the stretch. Very good. And then from here, we're going to step our feet a little bit further back. And then we're going to come into plank pose. So coming into plank pose, shoulders over the hands, firm in the belly, the buttocks, and really actively pressing the mat away, and then pressing back into downward facing dog. A much more open dog, your heels might not touch the floor. That's okay, it's not about heels on the floor. And then coming forward into plank, nice and firm in the belly and the buttocks, and still firm in the belly, pressing back to downward facing dog. Let's do this 3 more times. Forward to plank, back to downward dog, forward to plank, back to downward dog. Last one, forward to plank, back to downward dog. And here, stepping your feet back in again. So we don't need to find the space for plank anymore. Here, I'd like you to soften your knees and then really press the chest towards the thighs and tip your tailbone up. Imagine you've got a bowl of water in your pelvis, you're trying to tip it out to the front if you were not upside down. And then ease one heel down, soften both knees, ease the other heel down, soften both knees. Just going from side to side, keeping that tailbone lifted. That's the key thing. That's where we find the position of the spine. We're just going from side to side. One more time to each side. Maybe see if both heels will find the floor or in that general direction. And then find your child's pose. Wide legs, if you like, toes together, reaching the hands away from you to find the forehead on the floor. Maybe a couple of deep breaths in this position. And then for those of you who find it comfy, you can perhaps change to the knees together position of downward of child's pose, where you have the hands down by your ankles. Only if that feels better or feels good to do both. That's a little softer across the shoulders. And of course, allows the wrists to be in a little bit of a softer position as well to release their effort. Whichever child's pose you've landed in, making sure you're comfortable to remain here for 5 deep, releasing breaths. Sigh out through your mouth whenever you feel the need. Soften that space between the shoulder blades, your face, your belly muscles. And when you're ready, coming up into an upright position. And we're just going to roll the wrists. Awesome stuff. Let's go the other way as well. Lovely job. Just shake out the hands. Okay, we're going to find our way up into standing. We want to have a block handy, at least one, I think. And we're going to just take that to the right-hand side of our mat to begin with. And in fact, sorry, please excuse me. Let's put it in the middle. I think the middle for now. Apologies while I just rearrange the clothing. Now we've done all of that work. As we come to standing upright, take a moment just to allow yourself to feel the effect of your practice. So hopefully it feels like things have been done and it feels good in the body. Just giving yourself maybe a few shoulder rolls. There's been quite a lot of action for the upper back, not only with the downward dog, but also things like holding onto the belt. So you might feel it in your hands as well. We're going to take our feet nice and wide apart. And here we don't have to work as wide as possible for the wide leg poses, but remembering that challenging the body is part of what we do in yoga. So do make it a position that you feel is useful. We're going to make sure the feet are straightish, and then a little soft in the knees if you want to. Breathe in as you take your arms nice and wide, and as you breathe out, folding forward from your hips, allowing your hands to find the block in front of you so that you've got nice long legs and long arms and a long torso. And we're just going to gently ease one knee and then the other. So a little squatting from side to side. You can move your block with you if it's helpful, or you can keep your block in the center as you choose. Try to avoid going towards the floor, which we will go in a minute, but just for the beginning, side to side. And you might feel parts of the legs that we haven't stretched yet or haven't worked on specifically yet. Of course, they've been moved, but not in this way. When you're ready, you can come back to the center and then just allow your weight to find its way into your toes a little bit so it's not all in the heels, scooping the belly in and just seeing if you've got a little bit more room to move so that you could touch the floor if you wanted to. Now, if you can't, or if it doesn't feel comfortable in the back of the body, stay up on your block, not a problem at all. And then here we can do again the side to side action, perhaps with the upper body a little bit closer to the floor, perhaps even with the crown of the head coming towards the floor. Super. Side to side. I did say we were going to do extended side angle pose, and I think we will, but we're going to come back to this center position as we work. So to come up, we're going to look forward, lengthen arms and legs, a little soft in the knees, and then standing tall, turning the right foot out to the right. And we want to find our way into the widest legs that we feel comfortable holding. We're going to have our block ready at this right foot end of the mat. And then remember not to over square your hips. So we just want the hips to fall wherever they're comfy, but we want to be active in the feet. So rolling the outside edges of the feet to the floor, the big toe joints staying down, have a sense of drawing up into the buttocks. We're going to take the arms nice and wide, and then looking over your right middle finger, bend your right knee. And then from here, we're going to take the right forearm to the right thigh and reach the left arm over. Now here we're very active in the belly. We're also a little active through the upper body, rolling the left shoulder backwards as we open the chest. And perhaps you can bend your front knee a little bit deeper. Perhaps you want to reach your right hand, bend your right knee a little bit deeper, reach your right hand towards the floor or towards a block. If you prefer to stay up, that's fine. Really feeling the legs are strong, little lift in the belly, reaching over, fingertips reaching away from the outside edge of your left foot. Taking a deep breath in, deep breath out. And then we're going to come up, turning the top palm, pressing into the legs to come up to standing, turning the right toes in. And in the center, we do a little forward bend. So our block can be handy, coming into a little forward bend here. If you're comfortable, you can rock your weight into your toes and see if the crown of your head will come towards the floor, holding your forward bend with the crown of your head towards the floor or even on the floor. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out, and then walking your hands forward, softening your knees and pressing up to standing again. You're going to turn out the left toes, making sure that the stance is wide enough that it feels comfortable, but also perhaps a little bit of a challenge, and allowing your hips to fall where they may. Taking the arms out at shoulder height, Strong in the feet and the legs, looking over the middle finger of the left hand, bending the left knee in your warrior two, so not traveling forwards, but bending down. Taking your left forearm to the left thigh, reaching the right arm over, scoop the belly in and have that sense of twisting through the upper body. And then here, if you're comfortable, you can put your hand down onto the floor or onto the block in front of your left leg and reach the right arm over. Just see if you can stretch the fingers away from the outside edge of that right foot. Again, lifting in the belly, taking a couple of deep breaths. When you're ready to come out, turning the right palm up, pressing into that hand as you lift with the legs, turning your feet in. And here we're actually going to scissor the legs towards each other, scissor the feet in and out, or if you want to, you can jump, but we're quite far apart, so scissoring is really best. Coming into standing upright. Very good. So we're making our way towards the mat for our relaxation practice. So this is the time to put on your layers, and don't worry, we're going to do a little something to release out the hips as well. So I'm just going to grab a few bits and pieces from over here and maybe just take a little sip of water. And today, because we've done so much with the backs of the legs, it's useful to have a bolster or perhaps a rolled up blanket or some cushions to rest the backs of the legs on. But you could also do legs up the wall for your relaxation, or legs on a bed, perhaps, Helen, I'm thinking particularly of you, or on a sofa or a chair, whatever feels like it would be most useful. ACEs. So before we come to lying all the way down, we're going to do just a little seated spinal twist. So I'm going to put my layers on for this, but of course you could do it without layers on. I realise my socks don't go at all with my outfit, but that's all good. Hopefully you won't hold it against me. So to begin with, just lifting the flesh of the buttocks backwards, we're going to bend the left knee in and take it over the right leg and sit nice and tall. And then here we're holding that left thigh towards us with the right hand, lift the left arm up and over, placing the hand down and just letting that back arm support us straight and gently moving into a twist to the left. Here, I'm really mostly concerned about the position of the legs. So whilst you're in the twist, you're all familiar with this one, it's all great, relaxing the shoulders, a little active in the belly, but I want you to really think about drawing that left thigh towards you. Take a couple of deep breaths. And then you can unwind your head, your arms, your spine, turn a little to the opposite side and back to the center. And we'll do the same thing to the other side. Sitting tall, drawing the right foot in and then over the left leg. Wrapping the left arm around the right thigh, drawing that towards you, lifting the right arm up, gently turning to the right as you place that hand behind you. Allow it to prop you upright, soften your shoulders down, scoop your belly in. As you turn into the twist, really actively pulling the right thigh towards you. Take a couple of deep breaths here. And when you're ready, you can unwind your spine, turning first with your head, then with your arms, then with your body, turning a little to the opposite side, back to the center. And we will come, before we lie down on our backs, we're going to lie down on our tummies. We were about 5 minutes late starting, so I hope you don't mind. We'll probably be 5 minutes late finishing as well. So coming to lie on your tummies. Hopefully your warm layers are paying dividends now. With the feet reasonably wide apart, the forehead supported on the back of the hands, or you can turn your head to one side if you prefer, if that's better for your neck. if you're doing that, just be sure to turn it both directions. You don't need to swap it often, just once during the practice. And then here, allowing the front of the pelvis to wriggle slightly left and right, as if you were shaking your tail, but the front of the pelvis moves on the mat, easing out any tension from the hip flexors and the abdominal muscles. Maybe you can even feel that sense of rocking and rolling affecting the fronts of the legs, the quadriceps. And we are actually going to do a little something for them to release just now. So bending both knees. The knees need to be quite wide so the feet come back towards the buttocks. And then we're just going to sway the feet from side to side. We're keeping the upper body really heavy and still. The belly muscles can be nice and relaxed or relaxing. Maybe you're using a little bit of effort if you have a sensitive back. And then when we've done side to side, we can do a little circling of the legs. So we're circling the feet with the knees staying quite soft, which rolls our weight around on the thighs, particularly the quadriceps here at the front of the thighs, and maybe across the hip flexors, the front of the pelvis, the low abdomen. When you're ready, going in the opposite direction. You can play around with the position of your feet. If you find a place that feels really good to get into, you might want to stop there. All the while, breathing softly but deeply. And then when you're ready, again, coming to the center with the feet still bent, knees still bent, feet still up, and just finding wherever works for you. I like to release my feet, towards the floor, just to find that point where the quadriceps come into the knees join to thighs. That's a bit that I like to wriggle if I can. Whenever you're ready, just allowing the feet to find the floor again, softening the effort from the body, giving yourself a little wiggle, maybe some stillness for some deep breathing. Whenever you're ready, you can roll onto your back, or if you prefer, you can stay on your front for relaxation. That's always nice. Changing it up a little bit. But if you're rolling onto your back, rolling onto your back. If your legs up the wall, finding your way nice and slowly and carefully in that direction. You might need your knees bent into your chest. So after lying on our front, sometimes that stretches out the back of the body in a way that knees to chest will alleviate, or a child's pose would work as well. But once you're ready, settling yourself into the relaxation posture of your choice. So we want to have a sense of releasing through the front of the body so that we get a sense of open across the chest, maybe the shoulders falling back in towards the mat. And the low back being supported towards the floor, the legs nice and heavy. We've worked so hard with the legs today, although it may not have felt like it, all of that lengthening and stretching is also balanced by contracting. And so we have done much more with the legs perhaps than it seems at this point, or perhaps it seems like a lot. But just allowing them to soften now. We're going to do a little tense and relax through the body, which will help release the last bits of tension. So doing the best you can in the position you're in, tensing the muscles of the left foot and leg, holding the leg a little off the mat or off its support, holding tense, 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 relax and drop to the floor or onto your support. Tensing the right foot and leg, holding it a little off, whatever it's on, holding tense, tense, tense. Relax and drop down. Squeezing the buttocks and lifting the hips up and drop down. Drawing the shoulder blades towards each other, lifting the chest up and relax down. Make tight fists out of the hands and lift the arms just off the mat wherever they are. Hold here and then draw the shoulders up towards the ears. And then press the shoulders down towards the hips, open the palms wide, spread the fingers, relax and drop down. Press your low back down into the mat and at the same time, attempt to lengthen the whole of the spine downwards. Back of the neck long, keeping the head heavy. Hold as you breathe. And relax. Screw all the muscles of the face in towards the nose. Make a tight lemon-sucking face. Then eyes open, mouth open, tongue out, exhale. And relax. Let's do that one more time. Screw all the muscles of the face in towards the nose, tight lemon-sucking face. Then eyes open, mouth open, tongue out, exhale. And relax. Closing your eyes, gently roll your head from one side, slowly to the other. Doing this a few times in each direction. Whenever you're ready, bringing your head back to center and making any final wriggling adjustments to bring your posture to a comfortable position and to bring your body to stillness. Take just one deep breath in. Sigh as you exhale. And feel your body surrendering deeper into your mat and the support behind your body. Allow your breath to soften, finding its natural rhythm and falling into quietness. Allow the whole body to feel heavy, warm, supported, and releasing down. Move your awareness to your breath and gently deepen your breath, breathing in light, energy and harmony, breathing out tension, fatigue, discomfort. Breathing in light, energy, harmony, breathing out tension, fatigue, discomfort. Allow your breath to fall in this rhythm whenever you're aware of it. Take your awareness down to your feet. Beginning at the feet, allow each part of your body to relax, soften just a little deeper as it's mentioned. Starting with the toes, the soles of the feet, the tops of the feet, the ankles, all heavy, relaxed, softening. Soften the shins, the calves, the tops of the knees, the backs of the knees, the back of the thighs, the tops of the thighs, the hips, all relaxing, releasing, becoming heavy, softening down. Soften the buttocks, the whole of the pelvis, the hip flexors, the low back, middle back, upper back, the abdomen, the waist, the rib cage, the chest, all softening, relaxing, releasing, getting heavy into the mat. Softening the fingers, the palms of the hands, backs of the hands, the wrists, allowing the hands to be heavy, relaxing, releasing down. Softening forearms, elbows, upper arms, shoulders, softening the back of the neck, collarbones, the throat, the arms and neck and shoulders, all softening, releasing, relaxing, heavy into the mat. Softening the back of the head, the top of the head, both sides of the head, the forehead, the space between the eyebrows, the area around the eyes, the eyelids, the cheekbones, the nose, the mouth, tongue, and jaw, all softening, relaxing, releasing, letting go of any tension, allowing the whole body to be heavy and relaxed. Om. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Maybe take a deep breath in and sigh out through your mouth. When you're ready, you can begin to bring movement to your hands and your feet, moving your fingers and toes, maybe rolling wrists and ankles. And then in your own time, take a deep breath in. Maybe stretch through the body, maybe stretching one side of the body and then the other. Oh, maybe stretching the mouth and the face in a yawn. Oh, maybe drawing the knees into the chest to stretch out the back of the body. Making any movements that feel good to you in this moment. Maybe offering yourself one last little massage out of the back of the body. And then we can find ourselves rolling to one side, taking a moment on the side of the body, trying to contain that sense of peacefulness and tranquility within. When you feel ready, coming into any comfortable upright position, we're going to rest our hands across our hearts as we sit tall. And just taking note of how your body feels in this moment. Often that moment just after relaxation is when our body feels its most at ease. We can feel the effort that we made in the class, but we've also had the rest to restore our energy, to bring us back to a sense of balance so we can go forward into the day we have ahead. So giving yourself a gentle smile, maybe drawing your chin a little towards your chest. When you're ready, raising your head, releasing your hands, opening your eyes. So the things we've done in class today are by no means the only things, or the only things we can do to create length and find space in the body. But it is quite nice to have done a few layering one on top of the other. I hope you found at least one or two effective for your downward facing dog. And I look forward to practicing with you again. Namaste.